Hey guys, this is Apple Gamer 24/7. Here to give you guys today my iPhone 5 review. I had this phone for about 2 weeks now. I just want to give you guys my full review and impressions of it today. So going over the design of the phone like I usually do in my iPhone reviews, this design is pretty much brand new. A lot of people are saying on the internet or when they just look at a picture of the iPhone 5 on on TV or on the internet someplace, they say it looks exactly the same as the 4S, but it's not until you actually pick up the phone in person that you see the new design. Apple made a few solid design differences on the front of the phone, like they moved the far-facing camera to the side, from the side to the top, which is a nice addition. I really like that. But also the back is new, and this is probably my favorite part of the phone. What it is a two-tone back, so this part right here is aluminum, just like on the iPad or on the MacBook. But on the top and bottom, there's glass. So it's kind of mixing and matching two different designs. It's mixing and matching the iPad design, in my opinion, and also the iPhone 4 and 4S. All the buttons are still in the same place. You still got your home button. On the bottom, it got changed around a lot. The headphone jack is now located on the bottom now, which I really like. I know why people are making a big deal about that online. I really prefer it this way because if I'm fitting my phone in my pocket, it's much easier to grab my phone from the bottom and just pull out my headphones or anything like that. But also they added the new Lightning dock connector, which is a nice addition. Makes it so you can add more features into a phone, and it's also smaller. Also, you got your traditional speaker or microphone, which have been redesigned. The side is pretty much the same. You got your vibrate key and your volume buttons, but I do notice there's a little bit more space between these three buttons right here than there was on the 4S. And also, you still got the antenna bands, which kind of blend into the phone, so after a while you don't really notice them, which is nice. So going over the hardware, it has a 4-inch 1136 by, I believe, 400, I believe. I'll put the exact resolution down below in case I mess it up. But it has a 4-inch screen now, which is a nice addition. It's really nice. Has a new chip in it. Has an A6 dual-core chip. Runs at 1.3 gigahertz. 4G LTE, which is a very nice addition. I've been waiting for that ever since I got the Nexus. I've been using that for a month, as you guys know, and I was afraid that the iPhone 5 wouldn't have LTE, but once they had it, it was really nice. The camera on the back is still the same. It has an 8 megapixel camera with LED flash, but they changed the lens style on it. The lens is a sapphire crystal lens compared to the, I believe this is a plain old glass lens, which the sapphire crystal lens makes your pictures come out better and also makes your lens a lot more durable and prevents them from scratching in the future. Has a FaceTime HD camera, like I said before. Has a FaceTime HD camera on the front, so you can do your FaceTime calls or Skype or take your hipster self-portraits there if you really want to. Uses in-cell touchscreen technology. Now, what that is, before on the iPhone 4 or the 4S or even on the older iPhones, there used to be a layer of touch between the screen and the bezel, but that's not the case anymore. The touch layer is built into the screen, so there's actually one layer between the bezel and the screen, which makes your phone a lot thinner, and that makes it so you can have a much lightweight phone. Like I said, the headphone jack is on the bottom, and also you have the new Lightning connector. Now I'm going to talk about call quality. I have the Verizon model here. I can't say anything about the AT&T or the Sprint or any other carriers. I can only talk about the Verizon model, but I have to say the call quality on this is excellent. Haven't had any drop calls or anything. But the LTE around here is really not that great. It's only been in here. I don't think it's even been here a year. It just was put in my area. I believe when I first bought my first 4S, which is in February, which is not even a year yet, but I have 3 bars of LTE, which is fine. Call quality is great, but everywhere I go, I usually get a mix between LTE and 3G, but the coverage has improved since I got the Nexus. I'm getting LTE in places that used to get 3G on the Nexus. I don't know if it's because the antennas on the iPhone 5 are just much better than that, or Verizon is just updating their coverage map, but coverage is getting better over time, but it really hasn't been a big issue with me. The software, it's running iOS 6 pre-installed, which is nice. You can get some new features, but iOS 6 is built for this 4-inch screen, so you can have an extra row of icons and stuff like that. For those people that are saying that iOS 6 is boring, I wouldn't really say that it's boring. I would say it's familiar with a lot of people. A lot of people are familiar, which makes a lot of people get tired of it. I think when people look at Android phones and they see all the skins and everything on it, they look at it as a brand new UI and interface, but really it's the same Android phone. I could say that Jelly Bean is just an updated version of ice cream sandwich, just like iOS 6 is an updated version of iOS 5. So I wouldn't say it's boring. I would say it's familiar with people, and I think that people just want something like Android has, like a skin or something to customize a little bit. But I'm pretty much fine the way iOS works. You know, I like the notification center. And all the stuff like that. I do like the new features that they added to the phone app that allows you to decline and answer calls much better, and also gives you the pull down tab to reply if a message if you're not available to talk. I like some of the new features of that. Going over Maps just really quick, for those people, I know Maps is getting a lot of press lately. I haven't had really any problems with Maps. I used to the other day to get to a doctor's appointment, and they brought me to my destination just fine. But if you live in a big city, I don't live in too big of a city. I just live in a small town. It got me from point A to B, no problem. If you live in a bigger city, I could see what the issue is, but it hasn't had any issues with me. So, going over the pros and cons of what I think of the best things about this phone, I love the bigger screen. I love the 4-inch screen. As you guys know, I don't have the best eyesight. So having this phone with the bigger screen makes it a lot easier for me to read things on the internet or play games. It just makes everything a lot easier for me. So I really like the bigger screen and just how much stuff I can see on it now compared to the 3.5-inch screen. LTE, I love when I have LTE, especially when it's working in my area. Like I said, I don't have the best LTE coverage, but it's getting better. I like that I can have speeds close to my internet connection. Actually, I tested this against my home internet connection. I found that my internet connection at home is just a tad faster, but not that much. So there really isn't a difference between LTE and my home internet, which makes it nice on the road if I want to stream music or watch a YouTube video or use Netflix or anything like that. So I really like the LTE speeds, and I want that to stay on the iPhone I think that will stay on the iPhone for all the next generations until a new internet broadband wireless service comes out. The FaceTime HD camera, I really like that. I really how it's HD. I can record vlogs or anything like that. I really liked how that camera has finally been updated. That was one big disappointment with me with the 4S, is that the front camera did not get updated. I'm really surprised at how light the phone is compared to the 4S. If I were to hold the 4S right next to me, I don't have one anymore, but I would say the 4S is a lot heavier. This is much nicer. It fits really nice in the hand. I just really like how this feels. It also makes me feel like there's no battery in it. It's that light. So I can't really describe it on camera too well. You really need to hold the iPhone 5 in person in order to get the effect. In case you guys are wondering about camera tests, I'll put a few pictures in the video someplace, but I have to say the camera's just the same as the 4S. I really don't see any big deal with the camera. I believe they're the same, which is not a bad thing because the 4S had a good camera. So let's talk about the cons. One big con for me is the Lightning connector. I know it's smaller and I know it's supposed to be the new standard, but it means if I have a 30-pin dock connector, which I have many laying around because I've bought many iPads and many iPhones over the years, I can't use those cables anymore. I have one cable to charge my phone. I wish Apple gave you an adapter inside the box so you can use your old accessories, but that costs extra money, which I'm planning to pick up. If you guys want to see an unboxing of it, just leave it down below in the comment section. But it's not really a big deal breaker for me. It's just something extra you have to buy, and I understand why they're doing that, but that could be a deal breaker for some people, but it's not really a big deal for me. The next thing is kind of like a software thing. I wish Apple made a deadline for developers to make 4-inch apps, because a lot of the apps I have on my iPhone are not tailored to the 4-inch screen. Some of them are still at the 3.5-inch screen, which means I still get the letterboxing up top. I wish Apple made a deadline like what they used to do to make the 4-inch app, so a lot of the apps can be optimized by now. But I do say give it another month, and probably some of the major apps will be updated to the 4-inch Retina display. And the next thing is a con for me is the black model does tend to get scuffs on it. I kind of cleaned my phone up before this review, but as you can see, you might see some scuffs I'm not really seeing too well. But the black one does scuff and scratch a bit more than the white, so that might affect your buying decision, but it doesn't really matter to me. They wipe with any alcohol-based cleaner, so it's really not a big deal for me. I can just wipe it off. And if you want to protect your phone, I do recommend a case. This is the iLove case that I unboxed a few days ago. This is a pretty good case. I like how the scuffs get on the case rather than on the phone, because I know my phone's getting protected. But if you guys have any other iPhone cases you guys want me to review, just leave them down below. I might buy them or request them for a review. So anyway, guys, my overall opinions of the iPhone 5, should you upgrade if you have a 4S? It's a maybe. The only reason I upgraded is because of the 4-inch screen and the LTE. That's pretty much the only two reasons I upgrade to the iPhone 5. But if you have an iPhone 4S and you're happy with it and if you don't need any features I'm talking about here, then I would say if you're upgrading to the iPhone 5S or the iPhone 6. If you have an iPhone 4, definitely recommend upgrading because you're getting some new features. If you have anything below that, I definitely recommend upgrading to a newer phone. But anyway, guys, overall, I do give this one my recommendation. I do recommend this one to anybody that's looking to buy a new iPhone or just a new phone in general. And I will see you guys in my next video.